First contact and misunderstanding. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Zarkonian Empire reigned supreme. For millennia, they had explored, conquered, and assimilated countless species into their domain. Their sleek, biomechanical ships glided through the cosmos, a testament to their technological prowess. To the Zarkonians, the universe was theirs for the taking, and no force could stand in their way. That is, until they stumbled upon a small blue planet in an unremarkable solar system. Admiral Excelfor, commander of the Zarkonian exploration fleet, peered at the holographic display of Earth with his 4 eyes. His tentacles twitched with curiosity as he observed the primitive civilization below. "Fascinating," he mumbled. "These creatures have barely managed to leave their own atmosphere, yet they've survived this long without being conquered or destroyed." His second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Vexera, floated beside him. "Perhaps they are not worth our time, Admiral. They seem hardly more advanced than the Groxians we subjugated last cycle." Xelthor's bioluminescent patterns flashed with amusement. "Appearances can be deceiving, Vexera. I sense potential in these beings. We shall make contact and offer them the honor of joining our glorious empire." As the Zarkonian ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, humanity reacted with a mixture of awe, fear, and excitement. World leaders scrambled to coordinate a response, while civilians took to social media, their smartphones capturing grainy footage of the alien vessels. In New York City, Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant xenolinguist, found herself thrust into the spotlight. As one of the world's foremost experts on theoretical alien communication, she was quickly whisked away to a secure facility to assist in first contact procedures. Meanwhile, in a small town in Kansas, former Army Ranger turned mechanic Jake Cooper watched the news with growing unease. Something about the alien ship's movement struck him as oddly familiar, reminiscent of military formation flying he'd seen during his tours of duty. As the Zarkonian ships hovered over major cities worldwide, Admiral Xelthor's voice boomed across the planet, transmitted through advanced technology that bypassed all human communication systems. "People of Earth," the alien voice reverberated, distorted yet understandable. "We are the Zarkonian Empire, bringers of order and progress to the galaxy. We offer you the opportunity to join our grand civilization and benefit from our superior knowledge and technology. Resist, and you will be persuaded." In the secure facility, Dr. Chen's fingers flew across her keyboard as she analyzed the alien language. "This isn't just a greeting," she muttered to the government officials hovering anxiously behind her. "There are layers of subharmonic frequencies. It's like they're trying to influence our brain patterns." Across the globe, millions of humans felt a strange compulsion to welcome their new alien overlords, but not everyone was affected. Jake Cooper shook his head, clearing away a fog that had momentarily clouded his thoughts. "Oh, hell no," he growled, reaching for his phone to call his old military contacts. "We didn't fight for freedom on Earth just to give it up to some squid-faced spacemen." As the hours ticked by, it became clear that humanity's response was not what the Zarkonians had expected. While some people were swayed by the alien influence, many more resisted, their innate stubbornness and individualism proving stronger than anticipated. Admiral Excelthor's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with frustration. "Impossible. No species has ever resisted our persuasion techniques to this degree. Vexera, prepare the subjugation protocols. If these humans will not accept our benevolent offer, we shall demonstrate our power." But as the Zarkonian ships positioned themselves to attack, they encountered an unexpected problem. Their weapon systems, typically overwhelming against primitive planets, seemed to be malfunctioning. Unbeknownst to them, Earth's unique magnetic field was interfering with their targeting systems. On the ground, Dr. Chen had made a breakthrough. Their language, it's not just communication, it's a weapon. They're used to simply talking species into submission. But humans, we're too diverse, too contradictory. Our minds don't work the way theirs do. As the alien ships struggled to launch their attack, humanity's defenders scrambled to mount a response. Military jets took to the skies, even as scientists and engineers worked feverishly to understand and counteract the alien technology. Jake Cooper found himself recruited back into service, his uncanny ability to resist the alien influence making him a valuable asset. As he boarded a hastily modified fighter jet, he couldn't help but grin. "All right, E.T.," he muttered. "Let's see how you like a little human hospitality." The battle for Earth had begun, and humanity's sleeping potential was about to be unleashed in ways that would forever change the galaxy. Human ingenuity unleashed. As the Zarkonian ships loomed menacingly over Earth's cities, humanity's response was anything but uniform. In some areas, panic and chaos reigned. In others, an eerie calm settled as people waited for their governments to act. But in countless labs, workshops, and makeshift command centers around the world, human ingenuity was kicking into high gear. Dr. Samantha Chen had barely slept in 48 hours, her eyes bloodshot as she stared at screens filled with alien linguistics and brainwave patterns. "It's not just language," she explained to the joint task force assembled around her. "Their entire method of control is based on a sort of psychic conformity. They expect other species to fall in line because that's all they've ever known." A grizzled general leaned forward. "That's fascinating, Doctor, but how does it help us fight them?" Chen's eyes lit up with excitement. "Don't you see? We're not just resisting them. We're confusing them. Human minds are like jazz music to their classical orchestra. They can't predict us because we can barely predict ourselves." Meanwhile, in the skies above North America, Jake Cooper was putting that unpredictability to the test. His fighter jet, hastily retrofitted with experimental countermeasures, weaved through the air in patterns that seemed to befuddle the alien ships. "Yeehaw!" Jake whooped as he barrel-rolled past a Zarkonian vessel, his unorthodox maneuvers making him nearly impossible to target. "How'd you like them apples, squiddies?" But it wasn't just military might that humanity was bringing to bear. In Silicon Valley, a team of hackers led by the enigmatic Sci-Fi had been working non-stop to crack the alien communication systems. "It's like nothing we've ever seen," Sci-Fi muttered, her fingers a blur across multiple keyboards. "But at its core, it's still data. And where there's data..." Suddenly, her screens lit up with streaming alien code. "We're in," she shouted triumphantly. "Someone get me a direct line to the military. We can't destroy them, but we might just be able to confuse the hell out of them." Across the planet, similar breakthroughs were happening at an astonishing pace. In Mumbai, a team of engineers had reverse-engineered a fallen alien probe, unlocking secrets of their propulsion technology. In Lagos, biochemists had isolated the compound that allowed the Zarkonians to influence human minds and were working on a countermeasure. Admiral Excelthor watched in growing dismay as his fleet's carefully coordinated attack fell into disarray. Human fighters that should have been easily destroyed were running circles around his ships. Communications were becoming garbled with nonsensical human memes and something called rickrolling. "This is unprecedented," he bellowed, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "How can they be adapting so quickly? We've conquered worlds 10 times more advanced than this." Sub-Admiral Vexera's bioluminescent patterns flickered with concern. "Admiral, I've been analyzing their information networks. These humans, they're not just fighting us. They're enjoying it. Look at this." The holographic display filled with images from around the world. Humans were not just resisting, they were creating. Street artists spray-painted murals of heroic humans facing down alien squids. Children built elaborate pillow forts, declaring them anti-alien fortresses. Memes and jokes about the invasion spread faster than the Zarkonians could comprehend. In New York, a group of Broadway performers had hastily written and staged a musical about the invasion, somehow managing to make the aliens both terrifying and ridiculous. The show was streaming worldwide, boosting morale and confounding Zarkonian cultural analysts. Dr. Chen, watching this explosion of human creativity from her command center, couldn't help but laugh. "Don't you see?" she told the astonished military brass. "This is our true weapon. Our diversity, our adaptability, our sheer stubborn refusal to go quietly into the night. We're not just fighting them. We're rewriting the rules of the game entirely." As if to punctuate her point, a notification popped up on her screen. A 15-year-old girl in Australia had just uploaded a video demonstrating how to build a signal jammer that interfered with Zarkonian ship-to-ship communication, using parts from old cell phones and microwave ovens. The video had gone viral, with makers and tinkerers around the world already improving on the design. Jake Cooper, returning from another successful sortie, was greeted by cheering ground crews. As he climbed out of his jet, a young technician rushed up to him with a tablet. "Sir, you've got to see this. Some kid in his garage figured out how to boost our countermeasures using. Well, you're not going to believe this." Jake looked at the schematic on the screen and burst out laughing. "Is that a modified Xbox controller? Hot damn, I love this planet." As night fell on the second day of the invasion, the Zarkonian fleet found itself in disarray. Their carefully laid plans were in shambles. Their technology was being hacked and reverse-engineered at an alarming rate, and worst of all, they were becoming a laughingstock across human social media. Admiral Excelthor, his composure finally breaking, turned to his second-in-command. "Vexera," he said quietly, "I fear we may have made a terrible mistake. These humans, they're not primitive at all. They're something else entirely." As the Zarkonians retreated to regroup and reassess, humanity celebrated its first victory. But deep in their secret labs and hidden bunkers, Earth's brightest minds knew this was just the beginning. The Zarkonians would be back, and next time, they'd be ready for humanity's tricks. But so would humanity. In labs, garages, and hackerspaces around the world, people were already dreaming up new ways to fight, to create, to survive. The sleeping giant had been awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. The galactic stage. As the Zarkonian fleet retreated to the edges of the solar system, Earth erupted into a frenzy of activity. The initial invasion had lasted barely a week, but it had changed everything. Humanity, once divided by borders and ideologies, now found itself united against a common threat, and energized by the realization of its own potential. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before the newly formed United Earth Council, her holographic image projected to representatives from every nation. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite her exhaustion, "we've won the battle, but the war is far from over. The Zarkonians will return, and they won't underestimate us again." In the months that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in its history. The reverse-engineered alien technology, combined with humanity's newfound sense of purpose, led to advancements that would have seemed like science fiction mere months ago. Jake Cooper found himself at the forefront of this change, test-piloting spacecraft that incorporated both Zarkonian tech and human innovation. As he guided a sleek, silver ship through the rings of Saturn, he whistled in appreciation. "Now this is what I call a ride," he murmured, executing a maneuver that would have been impossible in traditional aircraft. Back on Earth, Cipher and her team of hackers had expanded their operations, creating a global network that monitored the far reaches of the solar system for any sign of Zarkonian activity. But they didn't stop there. Using the communication protocols they'd gleaned from the alien ships, they began reaching out into the galaxy. "It's like the early days of the internet," Cipher explained to a rapt audience of scientists and politicians. "There's a whole galactic network out there, and we're just beginning to tap into it. And let me tell you, folks, we're not the only ones who've had trouble with the Zarkonians." Indeed, as humanity made its first tentative connections with other species, they discovered a galaxy far more complex than they had imagined. The Zarkonian Empire, while vast, was not unopposed. Other alien civilizations, long suppressed or hidden, began to take notice of the upstart humans who had managed to do the impossible. Dr. Chen found herself working around the clock, coordinating with linguists and diplomats to establish communication protocols with a dizzying array of alien species. "It's like nothing we could have imagined," she told her team, her eyes shining with excitement. Each species thinks so differently, perceives reality in unique ways. But underlying it all is a common desire for freedom, for self-determination. As news of Earth's resistance spread across the galaxy, other worlds began to stir. The Voluxians, a race of energy beings who had long hidden from Zarkonian detection, reached out to offer humanity advanced shielding technology. The Krell, silicon-based lifeforms who had been fighting the guerrilla war against the Empire for centuries, shared tactics and intelligence. But not all aliens were friendly. The Drakmar, a warrior race that had aligned themselves with the Zarkonians, saw humans as a threat to be eliminated. Their raids on the outer colonies humanity had begun to establish pushed Earth's defenses to the limit. Jake Cooper found himself leading Earth's first true space fleet, a ragtag assembly of human ingenuity and alien technology. As they engaged in dogfights around the moons of Jupiter, he couldn't help but grin. "If my old drill sergeant could see me now," he chuckled, barrel-rolling his ship to avoid Drakmar fire. On Earth, the changes were no less dramatic. Cities began to incorporate alien architecture, melding human aesthetics with extraterrestrial function. Schools added xenobiology and astropolitics to their curriculums. And in labs around the world, scientists worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of faster-than-light travel. But with these advancements came new challenges. As humanity reached for the stars, old divisions began to resurface. Nations squabbled over the rights to alien technology. Corporations sought to monopolize off-world resources. Religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of alien life. Dr. Chen, now serving as Earth's chief xenodiplomat, found herself mediating not just between humans and aliens, but between competing human factions. "We can't afford to fall back into our old patterns," she warned the United Earth Council. "The galaxy is watching. How we conduct ourselves now will determine our place in the cosmic community." Cipher, for her part, had become something of a cult hero. Her hacker collective, now officially sanctioned but still delightfully irreverent, worked to keep humanity's newly acquired technology open and accessible to all. "Information wants to be free," she declared, "even if that information comes from a dozen light years away." As the first year of Earth's emergence onto the galactic stage drew to a close, humanity found itself at a crossroads. They had survived first contact, repelled an invasion. As the first year of Earth's emergence onto the galactic stage drew to a close, humanity found itself at a crossroads. They had survived first contact, repelled an invasion, and taken their first steps into a larger universe. But the challenges ahead were immense. In orbit around Mars, a massive construction project was underway. The Star Bridge, as it had been dubbed by an enthusiastic public, would serve as humanity's first true interstellar port. Ships from a dozen alien races contributed to its construction, a symbol of the complex alliances Earth was beginning to form. Jake Cooper, now Admiral Cooper of Earth's Cosmic Defense Force, watched the construction from the bridge of his flagship, the ESS Resilience. "Never thought I'd see the day," he mused, his weathered face reflected in the viewscreen. Humans working alongside beings that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi flick. His reverie was interrupted by an urgent communication from Earth. Dr. Chen's holographic form materialized on the bridge, her expression grave. "Jake, we've got a situation. Our deep space probes have detected a massive Zarkonian fleet assembling at the edge of the Orc cloud. This isn't just a retaliatory strike. They're bringing everything they've got." Jake's jaw tightened. "They're coming to finish what they started. How long do we have?" 2 months, maybe 3, Chen replied. "We're calling an emergency session of the United Earth Council. We need you back here ASAP." As news of the impending Zarkonian assault spread, Earth's fledgling unity was put to the test. Some nations called for an all-out military buildup, while others argued for attempting diplomatic negotiations. Fringe groups advocated for everything from surrender to attempting to destroy the entire Orc cloud. In the midst of this chaos, an unexpected message arrived. The Arcturians, a highly advanced race that had long remained neutral in galactic affairs, requested an audience with Earth's leaders. Their avatar, a being of swirling light and geometric patterns, addressed the United Earth Council. Humans of Earth, the Arcturian emissary began, its voice resonating with harmonics that seemed to touch the soul. Your species stands at a pivotal moment. The choices you make now will echo across the cosmos for eons to come. We offer you a choice. Join us in our great conclave, a union of peaceful races dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and harmony. But know this, to join us, you must renounce violence, even in the face of annihilation. The council chamber erupted into heated debate. Dr. Chen argued passionately for accepting the offer, seeing it as a path to long-term survival and enlightenment. Others, including Admiral Cooper, were more skeptical. With all due respect to our luminous friend, Jake countered, the Zarkonians aren't going to back off just because we join some galactic kumbaya circle. We need to fight, and we need allies who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. As the debate raged on Earth, out in the asteroid belt, Sci-Fi and her team were working on a project that could tip the scales. Using a combination of reverse-engineered Zarkonian tech and good old-fashioned human hacking skills, they were attempting to create a virus that could infiltrate and disable the enemy fleet. It's like trying to write code for a quantum computer while riding a roller coaster, Sci-Fi grumbled, her fingers flying over holographic interfaces. But if we can pull this off, we might just have a chance. With time running out and the fate of Earth hanging in the balance, humanity faced its greatest test yet. The choices made in the coming days would determine not just the future of one planet, but potentially the course of galactic history. Crisis and cooperation. As the Zarkonian Armada approached, Earth was a planet transformed. The once blue marble now sparkled with the lights of orbital defense platforms and the comings and goings of allied alien ships. But beneath the veneer of technological advancement, old human tensions simmered. The United Earth Council had been deadlocked for weeks, unable to reach a consensus on how to face the looming threat. The offer from the Arcturians had split the global community. Some saw it as a path to enlightenment and long-term survival, while others viewed it as naive pacifism in the face of an existential threat. Dr. Samantha Chen found herself at the center of this ideological storm. Her advocacy for joining the Great Conclave had earned her both devoted followers and fierce critics. As she prepared to address yet another council session, she couldn't shake a feeling of impending doom. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "The Arcturians offer us a future of peace and advancement, a chance to transcend our violent past. But can we trust that this path will protect us from the very real threat bearing down on us?" Admiral Jake Cooper, listening from his command chair aboard the Resilience, snorted in derision. "Pretty words won't stop Zarkonian plasma cannons," he muttered. His fleet was spread thin, trying to protect Earth's newly established colonies while preparing for the coming assault. Every day brought reports of skirmishes with Zarkonian scout ships, each encounter a grim reminder of the power they faced. But even as humanity grappled with its choices, the galaxy continued to evolve around them. Word of Earth's resistance had spread, inspiring other subjugated races to rise up against Zarkonian rule. The once mighty empire found itself fighting brushfire rebellions across dozens of star systems. In a hidden base deep within the Kuiper Belt, Sci-Fi and her team worked feverishly on their digital weapon. The virus they were developing was like nothing ever before created, a fusion of human coding ingenuity and alien quantum computing principles. "It's alive." Sci-Fi cackled as the virus passed another simulated test. "Well, not literally. But it's thinking, adapting. The Zarkonians won't know what hit them. But their excitement was short-lived. A priority message from Earth Central Command changed everything. The Zarkonians had somehow detected the virus project and launched a specialized strike force to destroy it. Incoming bogies. The base's eye warned, its usual calm voice tinged with urgency. Multiple Zarkonian stealth destroyers detected on approach vector. Sifr's eyes widened in alarm. We're not done yet. We need more time. She turned to her team, determination etched on her face. Initiate Protocol Omega. Download everything we've got to the quantum drives and prepare for emergency evac. As alarms blared and her team scrambled to save their work, Sifr sent out a desperate call for help. But with Earth's forces stretched thin, who could reach them in time? The answer came from an unexpected quarter. A fleet of sleek, crystalline ships suddenly dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the base. The Voluxians, Earth's energy-being allies, had answered the call. Your creativity must not be lost. The Voluxian commander transmitted. We will hold off the Zarkonians. Complete your work, humans. The galaxy's future may depend on it. What followed was a battle unlike any in human history. The Voluxian ships danced through space, their energy weapons lighting up the void. The Zarkonian destroyers, caught off guard by the unexpected resistance, fought back with savage intensity. Inside the base, Sifr and her team worked with desperate speed, the sounds of battle reverberating through the station's hull. Come on, Sifr muttered, watching the progress bar of the final upload. Don't fail me now, you beautiful string of ones and zeros. Back on Earth, the news of the attack galvanized the quarreling factions. Dr. Chen, realizing that peaceful intentions alone wouldn't save humanity, made a difficult decision. We cannot abandon our principles, she told the council, but neither can we stand idly by while others fight our battles. I propose a third path, one that combines the wisdom of the Arcturians with the strength we've discovered within ourselves. Her impassioned speech seemed to break the deadlock. The council voted to pursue a dual strategy. They would accept the Arcturians' offer to join the Great Conclave, but not as passive members. Earth would position itself as a bridge between the peaceful elder races and the younger, more volatile species of the galaxy. As the vote was tallied, Admiral Cooper received the transmission he'd been dreading. This is Sifr. The hacker's voice crackled over the comms, strained but triumphant. Package is secure, but we've taken heavy damage. Request immediate evac. Jake's jaw clenched. The Resilience was the closest ship with enough firepower to take on the remaining Zarkonian forces, but diverting to the Kuiper Belt would leave Earth exposed. It was an impossible choice, the kind that defined leaders and altered the course of history. Helm, he ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of command. Set course for the Kuiper Belt, maximum speed. And someone get me a direct line to those glowing Arcturian folks. Tell them if they want to prove their worth to humanity, now's the time. As the Resilience streaked towards the embattled outpost, Earth's fate hung in the balance. The virus that could turn the tide of war was nearly complete, but its creators were under siege. The Zarkonian main fleet drew ever closer, while humanity's newfound allies faced their own trials across the stars. In this darkest hour, the true test of humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. Would they rise to the challenge, forging a new path that combined the best of their warlike past and their aspirational future? Or would the sleeping giant, so recently awakened, be driven back into slumber, this time, perhaps forever? The next few hours would decide not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the galaxy itself. A new era dawns. The void of space erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions as the ESS Resilience burst onto the scene near the Kuiper Belt. Admiral Jake Cooper stood on the bridge, his face illuminated by the tactical displays showing the chaos of battle. Status report, he barked. Voluxian fleet is down to 30% strength, sir, his tactical officer responded. Zarkonian forces are pressing hard on the research base. Sifr's team is still holding out, but their defenses are failing. Jake's jaw clenched. All right, people, this is what we've trained for. All hands, battle stations. Let's show these squid faces what happens when you back humanity into a corner. The Resilience plunged into the fray, its advanced weapons, a fusion of human innovation and reverse-engineered alien tech, blazing. Zarkonian ships, caught off guard by the sudden reinforcements, began to break formation. Deep within the research base, Sci-Fi and her team worked feverishly to complete the virus. Sweat beaded on her forehead as her fingers danced across holographic interfaces. Come on, she muttered. A proximity alarm blared, indicating a breach in the base's outer defenses. We don't have much time left, people. Let's make it count. Back on Earth, Dr. Samantha Chen stood before the newly assembled Galactic Council, a mix of human representatives and alien allies. The Arcturian emissary, a being of swirling light, hovered nearby. The battle we face today is not just for Earth. Chen addressed the council, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. It's for the right of all species to choose their own path. The Zarkonians believe in subjugation. We propose a different way. A galactic community built on cooperation, diversity, and the free exchange of ideas. As she spoke, the council chamber's displays lit up with incoming transmissions. Across the galaxy, oppressed species were rising up against their Zarkonian overlords. Inspired by Earth's resistance, they had found the courage to fight for their freedom. In the Kuiper Belt, the tide of battle was turning. The Resilience, working in concert with the remaining Voluxian ships, had managed to punch a hole through the Zarkonian lines. But the victory had come at a cost. The ship's hull was breached in multiple places, and life support was failing on several decks. Jake Cooper, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead, turned to his communications officer. Get me a line to that research base. Sci-Fi's face, smudged with grime and tension, appeared on the view screen. Please tell me you're here to save our asses, Admiral, she said with a grim smile. Working on it, Jake replied. Tell me you've got some good news. Sci-Fi's smile widened. Oh, I've got better than good news. I've got a galaxy-changing, empire-toppling, humanity-saving digital payload ready to deploy. We just need to get it into the Zarkonian command network. Jake nodded. All right, people, you heard the lady. Let's make a hole. What followed was a daring maneuver that would be studied in military academies for generations to come. The Resilience, systems failing and hull barely holding together, made a kamikaze run straight for the Zarkonian flagship. At the last possible moment, it fired a specially designed probe containing Sci-Fi's virus directly into the alien vessel's data port. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, like a wave spreading across the stars, Zarkonian ships began to power down. Weapons went offline, engines failed, and communication systems fell silent. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Xelthor watched in horror as his mighty armada fell dark around him. Impossible, he whispered, his tentacles writhing in distress. How could they have? What are these humans? As the Zarkonian threat crumbled, cheers erupted across Earth and its colonies, but the victory celebration was short-lived. The real work was just beginning. In the months that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation. The fall of the Zarkonian Empire left a power vacuum that threatened to plunge dozens of star systems into chaos. It was here that humanity found its true calling. Dr. Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, worked tirelessly to build a new interstellar community. Human diplomats, engineers, and peacekeepers spread across the stars, helping former Zarkonian subjects rebuild and find their own paths. Jake Cooper, hailed as a hero of the war, found himself in an unexpected role, teaching former enemy combatants about human concepts of freedom and self-determination. Never thought I'd be giving civics lessons to tentacled aliens, he often joked. But hey, beats shooting at each other. Sci-Fi and her team became the architects of a new galactic internet, a free and open network that allowed species across the cosmos to share knowledge and culture. Information wants to be free. she declared at the network's launch, even if that information comes from a dozen different dimensions. But perhaps the most profound change came in humanity's relationship with the Arcturians and the other elder races of the galaxy. As promised, Earth had joined the Great Conclave, but on its own terms. Humans brought with them a unique blend of creativity, adaptability, and a willingness to challenge the status quo that invigorated the ancient alliance. "We do not seek to rule the galaxy," Dr. Chen told the Galactic Council in a speech that would be remembered for generations. "Nor do we wish to impose our way of life on others. Instead, we offer a hand of friendship to all species, a promise to stand together against tyranny, and an invitation to join us in exploring the infinite wonders of the cosmos." As the new era dawned, humanity found itself at the forefront of a galactic renaissance. The sleeping giant had not only awakened, it had inspired a universe to dream of a better tomorrow. In a small classroom on one of Jupiter's moons, a young human teacher stood before a class of alien children, each a different species. On the wall behind her, a banner displayed a simple message in dozens of languages. "The universe is vast, but together, we are limitless." As she began her lesson on the Great Zarkonian War and the birth of the new galactic age, the teacher couldn't help but smile. The future, with all its challenges and opportunities, was bright indeed. And somewhere out there, in the vast expanse of space, the next great adventure was waiting to begin.